Welcome back to Rubbing Minds. Now, over the past few years, Japa, which literally means fleeing or moving or migration, just leaving the shores of Nigeria in search of greener pastures, has become one of the biggest movements. It seems like these days people are making their ways to different corners of the earth, from Australia to the UK to the US, New Zealand, and the list goes on. But a lot of times, Nigerians do fall prey to scam artists, fake agents, and promises of greener pastures that end up in tears, premium tears. Now, to discuss how Nigerians can protect themselves in their Japa journey, I'm joined by a migration and travel consultant, popularly known as Wakawaka Doctor, and he joins us from our Abuja studio. Welcome to Rubbing Minds.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to have discussions about moving abroad and opportunities that exist all around the world. So thank you.
Thank you for honoring our invitation. Wakawaka Doctor, I would like to start on a personal note. What has been your Japa experience, or when did you come across the phenomenon of Japa?
Well, truth be told, I never intended to leave Nigeria. I'm still a good patriot, but never wanted to run out of the shores of this country. But back in 2014, I had the opportunity to leave. I'm a medical doctor. That's my background, but I was severely underpaid and overworked. So in a bid to look for money, the hunger for money, I found a job opportunity in the Middle East, and that was when I found out it was possible to live abroad, it was possible to move abroad, thrive abroad, earn money that was much better than I was earning in my country at the time. And I found out that there were several opportunities, and my perspective and horizon was broadened, and I started helping people with information back in 2020. So it took me 6 years of being abroad, seeing the difference, researching, studying, and now I help people achieve the same thing.
If you cast your mind back to that time when you left the shores of Nigeria to the Middle East, how accessible was information for you? Was it word of mouth? Did you have to work with agents?
Do you mind repeating your question?
If you cast your mind back to that time you left Nigeria for the Middle East, how accessible was information about legal migration? Did you have to work with agents? Did you get things from social media? What was your experience like?
Well, of course, there were agents. I mean, if you do cast your mind back and remember the famous Oluwole, where you have agents who help with fake documentations and, fake promises and the likes. So they were existent, and people just, ignore information that you have that is accessible and would prefer to take shortcuts. I, on the other hand, just found an advert, in a newspaper, got the address for an interview, went for the interview, passed the interview, submitted my documents. There was a whole process to it. So for me, it was a bit different because I had a skill. I was able to access the information. I was able to make use of it. And then, it led to me moving abroad.
Well, not a lot of Nigerians are medical doctors or in high demand, and a lot of them fall prey to some of these scam artists. And you mentioned Oluwole. What are some red flags or pitfalls, danger signs that Nigerians should look out for in their Japa journey?
See, it's a lot, and we can write a whole textbook about it. The thing is this: there is verifiable information on everything you need on the internet. Verifiable information from government websites, from official websites that you can access. So when you meet someone who tells you, gives you information that is not verifiable, that's a red flag. When someone promises you and offers you guarantees, because even an embassy can offer you guarantee. Yeah? So if they say, I assure you you're going to get admission, or I assure you you're going to get a visa, or I assure you you're going to get a job abroad, then that's a red flag. If they have no registration, no license to show you, that's a red flag. If they're asking you to pay money into, personal accounts, that's a red flag. If they try to avoid a documentation and contracts, that is a red flag. If there is no in-depth discussion about the process it will take, that's a red flag. If they are rushing you to make payments, and telling you, do it now or you will lose, that is a red flag. The only problem is that a lot of us don't pay attention to these things, but the red flags are always very obvious.
And a lot of people go on social media, they watch testimonials, maybe some by their favorite influencers about a travel consultant or a company offering a Japa package, and they are easily swayed by that. What can be done to regulate such? Is it possible that such misinformation can be curbed, or Nigerians will just have to deal with it and still go through the long process of doing this verification that you spoke about?
I think that has to be the first step. The first step is you, as a person, taking responsibility and doing your own research. It's important that we have to make this an attitude now. We have to imbibe it, that culture of doing your own research. Now, take for instance, your favorite influencer is telling you they can help you, or they've got a company that can help you move abroad, but that favorite influencer is in Nigeria. Why is someone in Nigeria telling you they can help you move abroad when they don't live abroad, they don't work abroad, they've never been abroad? These are signs. You also want to take a look at a track record of that person. I don't mean to gloat, but take a look at me, for instance. I've been doing this on social media for the last 5 years, and there is a track record. I started from Nigeria. I have been to 79 different countries. I have lived and worked in 5 different countries. I have helped people, hundreds of thousands of people, move abroad. And it's not just by me making posts. There are people, real people, who have moved abroad and would give testimonials to the fact that they did it through Wakawaka Doctor. So there is a track record, proven stories of people who live abroad, and we share with you. In fact, recently I started visiting countries to find people who moved to these countries as a result of the information I share. So the box stops at the end of that individual making the first step, doing their own research first. And of course, the government also has to help with sort of registering and regulating these agencies, okay? And one final thing that I would like to talk about is also to see how partnerships with embassies and consulates can help reduce the bureaucracies. There's a lot of bureaucracy, and this is what shifts people into looking for shortcuts. For instance, I use the German embassy, for instance. You can get a visa appointment in Germany for the next 18 months.
Yeah, I've
so when
also
an agent
tried.
comes and tells you, don't worry, I will get you a visa appointment in the next 2 months, they know that you're desperate to get appointments. So that's a loophole that they will exploit. So, yeah, that's it.
I can, I totally, I've been in that position looking for a date. And I know it's not just the German embassy, the US embassy, and people are desperate. Now, what happens when somebody has jackpot and they now find out that the promises they made were all untrue, and they literally find themselves on the streets? They've sold up everything and they are now in that position. Do you have such people reach out to you to say, look, Wakawaka Doctor, I'm stuck here, I can't go back because I've sold everything, I can't move forward because this fake agent has disappeared? And what message do you have for them, or have you encountered such in your practice?
Yes, I have. And people need to realize that agents and fake agents and scammers, what they do is they sell you a fantasy, isn't it? They sell you dreams. They don't sell you processes and realities. We're telling people that, it's going to be greener on the other side, and you should make an attempt to leave your comfort zone and move to somewhere that is currently better than where you are at the moment. There is nowhere in the world, there's no place in the world that has a perfect system. So if you think that you're going to come to a country and everything will be perfect, my dear, you're in for a jolly good ride. It's not that way. But the idea is to move to somewhere that is better. Now, this brings me to the point where I always make in all my videos. You need to plan. You need to plan. In fact, I always say that you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Why do you want to move? Where do you want to move? How do you want to move? When do you want to move? There needs to be a time frame. There needs to be a planning, with regards to executing your move. You do not sell your properties with the hope of going somewhere that you've never been to. In fact, when I talk to some people and they say, I want to move with my family, and it's possible to move with family, but I always advise, I say, okay, why not take one step? Let someone move first, because you're going to a new environment. Imagine if all of you move, and then what you see is different from what you're used to. You're caught flat-footed, and it's difficult to catch your balance. But if one person goes, make the arrangement, look for accommodation, look for school for the kids, look for GP, look for the best place to get rent. You know what I mean? So
yes,
you need to plan. You cannot sell your properties, you cannot sell your car, you cannot sell your houses, you cannot quit your job with the hope of moving somewhere else and hoping that you would find gold. It is not a bed of roses. We are only saying that the place you want to move to, it could be better than where you are at the moment. And that's why we encourage to move.
I don't know if you've come across maybe some posts on social media and you see someone saying they are Japa into very unlikely Japa destinations like Iraq, or they're going to some very unknown countries, maybe in Europe or in the Middle East. And you're like, Nigerians are also there. What has been like the strangest Japa experience you've come across, or a country that has shocked you beyond your wildest imagination?
Nigerians are everywhere, thanks to our huge population, isn't it? But you don't want to hear names. You're going to hear people say, there's a work visa in Albania. I can give you a job in Kazakhstan. There's a job in Fiji.
Fiji?
So when you hear countries like Albania, anything Stan, please run. Kazakhstan,
so Pakistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan,
Afghanistan, just run, just run. The idea again is to be able to move to a place that is better than where you are at the moment, and better has a lot of facets. Is it because the passport strength of that country is better than what you currently hold, or because security is better than where you are at the moment, or improved quality of life is better than where you are at the moment? Why would you go to Iraq? You're Nigerian, you're going to Iraq. What are you looking for in Iraq? Even when someone says, come to Qatar, or come to Saudi Arabia, or any of these Middle Eastern countries, if you do not have a tangible skill, and when I say skill, I mean white collar style. I'm talking about being a doctor, being a nurse, being an engineer, being a tech guru. There is no reason why you want to find yourself in the Middle East. So there are a lot of, Cyprus is another one. This is a pandemic. Cyprus, whether it is North Cyprus or South Cyprus or East or West, once you hear Cy, don't even finish the pros, just run away. So some of these countries, I've heard so many stories, and we're doing a lot of education online as well to make people aware that you need to stay far away from this country.
And what do you make of some of the tightening grips that some of these governments are having? Like we're hearing what President Trump is doing in the US, Canada with their PR quotas. UK is even thinking of extending it from 5 years to 10 years before you can get the passport. Is this a sign for us to stay back at home, or maybe consider, maybe not the stands, but something in between the stands and then your UK, US, Canada?
The truth is that there are many ways you can look at this, right? Like I started during this interview, we started by saying I never wanted to leave Nigeria. Even being outside Nigeria, it's not because I'm happy with it. It's because I don't have a choice. My salary Back in 2014, I was doing 2 jobs. It was less than 120,000 naira. Then I got a job that was going to pay me in foreign currency. Of course, I'm going to take the leap. I'm going to go away. So what we are asking, the message now is to our African leaders and Nigerian leaders, stop practices that would only benefit your stomach. Stop practices that would only benefit you and your greed. You cannot be a politician in a country where things don't work. Your family members live abroad, you use foreign passports, but there are no roads, there are no hospitals, basic facilities are not available. People are paid poorly. You have teachers who earn 15, 20, 30, 40,000 naira in Nigeria, and their counterparts in foreign lands are earning 10, 20 times, in dollars. You know, we're talking about maybe 50 times that in dollars.
Yes, Wakawaka,
it's a
doctor.
shame. It's a shame. So on one end of the spectrum, it's a call for Nigerian leaders, for African leaders, for politicians to repair and restructure the stuff at home. If you do all these things, then nobody's going to want to leave. Now, on the other side,
Wakawaka, doctor, sorry, I have to butt in here, but sadly we're out of time. But I love the note that you've ended on, where it's a call to our leaders, a charge to our leaders to look inwards and make this country better, that Japa won't be always the only option on the table. Thank you so much for joining us from our Abuja studio. And we'll go on a quick break now. Don't go anywhere.